Hey guys, it's your gay sports fanatic here with you today. It's hotter than heck where I'm at, so we're going kind of light here. But today we're going to talk about my five favorite players in the NFL going into 2024, and I'm going to add a sixth, which is my favorite coach in the NFL. Full disclosure, flat out, I'm a Vikings fan. That has nothing to do with this list, as you'll see. So I'm going to start off right away with Amon-Ra St. Brown at the Detroit Lions. Now, this kid was taken fourth in the fourth round in 2021. His family there, the cameras there, and they waited and they waited. And finally, he got picked. And so he came in with something to prove. And boy, has he. And you watch out for this year because this kid and the Browns are going to prove a lot. I'm telling you, if I were a betting man, I don't know what, probably the odds aren't real great. I don't think I'm on to something revolutionary here, but the Browns, I believe, are going all the way. I don't know what their odds are for the Super Bowl. I'd put money on it today. Barring injuries, of course, but they're my team. So Amon St. Brown, by the way, if you ever get a chance to go on YouTube and watch him and his dad and his brother work out, they've been groomed since they were five to be superstars. 5 years old, and they are. They haven't let their dad down at all. By the way, I really like their dad. He was a whatever, world champion, Mr. Olympia, whatever it is, in bodybuilding way back 40, 45 years ago. But he has instilled in these kids a work ethic. You got to see the workout he puts his sons through. I mean, it'd kill almost anybody, but the results are there. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, you go this year with those Lions and you keep revving up Motown. Also on the sidelines up there in the Motor City is Dan Campbell. For my money, the best coach in the NFL. This team is his team. They're in his image. They play as one, but they play just like his personality is. And he is gritty. He's tough. He's get the job done. He's work hard, and he's forget about the past. Forget about who the Lions have been. We're talking about now, and we're talking about what we can do now, and they will. So, just to give you a quick fact on Detroit, by the way, just to tell you the kind of enthusiasm that these two have generated, and of course the rest of the team. I'm leaving out a lot of people, but the Detroit Lions have a 25,000 seat waiting list for home games at Ford Field. Folks, we're talking about Detroit, downtown Detroit. 25,000 person waiting list. Whoever thought they'd see the day in Detroit, okay? This is a town where they got infamous for putting the garbage sacks over their head. So, I mean, look at them now. So, they're, again, I'm one of my favorite teams, and then these are my favorite coach and my favorite player. So let's move on to everybody's going to know. You're all going to like him anyway. I can't imagine if you don't. And that's Christian McCaffrey. I only bring his name up because one, he's just flat out one of my favorite players every year. He gets the ball 90% of the time. Magic happens. This guy was not robbed of the MVP last year. He was the MVP of the league, in my opinion. So I don't know if he's ever going to get a chance to get in there again and consideration for that. But to all things that happen good for Christian, a lot has. He's earned it, though. And I just hope, if there's more, I think the 49ers are not going to win the Super Bowl this year. But if they did, I'd be happy. Well, there's a number of players on that team. I'm going to get to another one in a minute. But Christian McCaffrey, always happy to see him succeed. He's humble, he's hardworking, and he gets the job done. Next on my list is Cheetah in Miami, Tyreek Hill. Now, a lot of people might think that's not such a good pick. He's a little cocky, maybe a little bit of arrogance. He does call himself Cheetah, which would be the the fastest animal in the wild. In his case, fastest guy in the NFL. I don't know if that's exactly true that he is the fastest, but I love to see him play. When he scores, it's enthusiastic. He really does a lot of outreach to kids, and I don't know if people really know that about Cheetah. Does a lot of work with kids. Cheetah's a good guy. I'd like to have a beer with Cheetah. Cheetah's a great guy. I'm just watching him play. Again, Miami, a team for me, and the AFC. Just look out, okay? This team's ready to take a step up. So my next player on the list is one that you all know, again, and that's Myles Garrett. This guy's the best, in my opinion, I think, ranks in the top three best defensive players ever to play in the NFL. Not only does he have genetics that are in 1 in a million people in this world. He also gives 110% to maximize the genetics that God has given him. He's just a great guy, and he works his butt off. And he's got to be double teamed or held on every play to keep him from getting in that backfield. I mean, it's just the way it is. Watch the games. They call it every now and then, but not enough. You call every play. I'm talking about holding. So he can be held and double teamed and still get in the backfield. That's how good Myles Garrett is. Picture this for a second. Think that you're a quarterback. You're Joe Burrow, and you're looking over the line, and you see Myles Garrett staring at you in the face. That would be talk about a frightening prospect. So I'd triple team him if I were, if I were the quarterback staring at him. So anyway, just I know he's got a lot of accolades, but if this guy doesn't get a ring, a Super Bowl ring, before he leaves the NFL, that's a crime because nobody deserves it more than Myles Garrett. My next player on the list is I'm gonna leave him for last. My next player on the list is Brock Purdy. Now, I grew up real close to where Brock Purdy went to college, which is Iowa State University. And he was pretty good at Iowa State. His last year, the team was a disappointment, and I think that really hurt Brock Purdy's standing in the NFL, which is why, alas, he was the last person chosen in the NFL draft. I mean, the last person. Well, look at him now. I know he's got a great cast around him. He's got a great team around him. You couldn't ask for a better, cast of characters around this kid. But you know what? He delivers, and he's making what $700,000 a year because he's under that, contract. Uh, I like his attitude, I like his work ethic. I like how he's shown everybody up in this league what he can do, and he's not boastful about it. He just gets the job done. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Again, he's got a great, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa. It just goes on and it goes on and on and on. The weapons that he has, but he doesn't screw up like you would expect the last drafted player in the NFL to do. So shout out to Brock Purdy. Next year, Brock Purdy, you'll be a millionaire, a multimillionaire, actually. And last but not least on my list is somebody who's been around a long time. This is a real veteran. So was Myles, but this is a real veteran who I think a lot of people would say has been a disappointment. He hasn't really been a disappointment to me. I mean, yes, I had wished a lot more for him. I watched him in college at Penn State. He played my Iowa Hawkeyes. That's where I went to school. That's my team. And you had to have respect for him. I also dislike him again as a person. I like Saquon a lot. I know when he's a lot of ads, people wonder why, because his stats really haven't backed it up. But he's been injured a lot. He had a great rookie year, of course, but he's been injured a lot. He's had a lot of bad breaks. Also, he's on a terrible team where he's asked to do more than anybody could do with the kind of offensive line that he had. Yeah. So now, though, it's all a whole different story this year. He's with the Eagles. He's with a great team. Saquon at 26 does not have the mileage on him that you might think other running backs at that age, Ezekiel Elliott, that have all the mileage on them. He doesn't. Saquon is as fresh, I think, as he was when he came in the league. Saquon is ready to go this year. So I'm hoping, please, no injuries for Saquon. Let him have an awesome year. Hey, if the Eagles are my team, if Saquon stays healthy, the Eagles are my team to challenge the Lions along with the 49ers for the NFC title and a win in the Super Bowl, quite frankly. So those are my favorite players that I think have something to prove even more, and my favorite coach in the NFL. So you guys, let me know what you think. Be sure to comment, share, and if you want to hear, next week will be my first week doing a college football preview. We've got a great first week, Labor Day weekend in college football, so I'll be previewing that next week. Hit subscribe, and you'll get notification when that's up. So thank you guys. Over now.